Alrighty, okay, so we're here for our third, I believe, video in this installment. This is version 3 that I've been running lately. I have played 8 games with this deck, so I think I had a pretty good amount of sampling to see what I liked and didn't like about it. I realized after going through my deck that I was actually playing one less card than I could have, so we have changed that, and also a lot of other things about this deck. You can see the equipment here. That's definitely changed up quite a bit. I've taken Sledge out. I took out the... I haven't taken out the gloves, although I would only play him against Kano, and I haven't seen a single Kano yet, but you never know, and you want to be prepared. It only takes up one card. I might as well keep it. But yeah, so yeah, Sledge, not even messing around with it anymore. I know it was like a pet project of mine to be like, maybe Sledge, I could use it twice in a turn. No, it just doesn't happen. It just doesn't matter. Okay, so here, let's get to the real cards that we're talking about here today. Blessing, kept it in, amazing. Everything up here on the top row, I just kept in. Enlightened Strike, a lot of people were saying was maybe a mistake, but I had like 2 turns today. While I went 1 and 3, so let's preface this with I went 1 and 3, but I had 2 turns today that went really well that were based on Enlightened Strike, go again, into another attack, excuse me, into another attack, and I think from my perspective, 2 5 attacks in a turn is better than 1 10 or 11. Just because I feel like in the end, sometimes it kind of strips more from your opponent because they look at 5 and they're like, oh, I really don't want to take that, so they block it, and then you come in with another 5 and they're like, oh man, I really blocked everything out already, so I might as well keep blocking. Or you get the 5 in because they, they're like, oh well, I don't want to, I need to keep these 2 cards. Whereas if you attacked with 10, they would have been like, oh well, I block with 3 cards and then maybe I do something else. I don't know, but I like E-Strike, so I'm keeping it in. All the pummels, duh. I got rid of these Sink Belows. I got rid of these red Slogisms. I wanted to run a little bit less red. I'm replacing the Sink Belows, ironically, after just saying that, with red Fate for Scenes. So we'll talk about that when I get to the Fate for Scene. The Slogisms, I just never got them off, so I took them out. Spinal Crush, perfect card. Love it so much. I can't splurge about this card enough. It's amazing against Chain. It's amazing against a lot of heroes. Katsu, Chain, anything that wants to go wide. Love it. Staunch Response. I kept in the reds and the blues, even though I sideboard them out pretty frequently against heroes that are putting out a lot of smaller attacks. I took out the yellow Staunch Responses, though. I just think they are suboptimal for what I want them to do, and I kind of want this deck to be a little bit more aggressive post this swap out. So we've got Righteous Cleansings, Debilitates Chokeslams, that's been in the deck for a while. Rouse the Ancients here is something that I am unsure of. I don't love Rouse. I've never gotten a Rouse off. So let's talk about the difference between Rouse and E-Strike. I've had multiple games where I've gotten an E-Strike and gone into something else. And yes, E-Strike's only for 5, but I give it go again. And I do have to put the card to the bottom, but it's happened multiple times. This, while if it pops off and you get everything, is better than E-Strike because it's a 7 and then go again. And obviously, if you meet the conditions, you do have a lot of attack power in your hand. I have just never had a hand or a setup where I've looked and gotten Rouse and been able to get it off and also had the resources to do more than one thing, which I think might be partially my deck building. I might not have built the deck to trigger Rouse enough. Which I have changed, so we'll talk about that when we get to it. Stamp Authority, I haven't been able to use it lately, but I do love the card. I think I'm going to keep it in there. I almost always pitch it, but I've gotten to play it a few times, and it's a good card. I think it deserves to be in the deck. Unmovables, got rid of them. Never felt good playing an Unmovable. Never hit a turn where I was super happy to get an Unmovable. I don't think it's great compared to Staunch Response. I just think Unmovable is, every time I see it, I'm like, oh, it's a suboptimal Staunch. A less usable Staunch, a not as good Staunch Response. Showtime, obviously in the deck still. Towering Titan, I know I did this before, but I took more out. I took them all out. They're all gone. I got to play one today, but that's the first time I've ever even played even the blue one. And I thought, why not put a card that's just better in there? Obviously, if you can get a Towering Titan off, it's a great turn. But having never gotten one, I just didn't want to keep going, oh, but like maybe the one turn that I get there, it'll be so good. No, done with it. Let's play other cards that I get to play more frequently. So Blessing, Command and Conquer, Crippling Crush, Crush Confidence. Here's the first new card, Crush the Weak in red. So you've got that. It's an attack for 7 for 3, so it's great in the Prism matchup. It's great in just a ton of matchups, honestly. Crush the Weak is a phenomenal card. It's amazing. So you can't play any attacks with base 3 or less, which is just bonkers good. It's great against Chain. It's great against Katsu. It's great against Dorinthia. It's just great. Not so much Dorinthia because she's attacking with her weapon, and this only applies to attack action cards, but you get my point. A lot of heroes use 3 or less. Anything that's going to try to play Minuism, the Minuism combo is gonna be weak to that. Disable, I upped this from just the blues to blue and 2 reds. Actually, no, I put this in entirely. This was not in the other deck. So disable, it's a 5 attack for 7 or a 5 attack for 9. I think I want to go for more of these 5 attacks because they're a lot easier to play, especially if you can keep tech plating up. Because you can, for 2 blues or a blue and a yellow, you can pitch to tech plating again and then play it. Fate for Scene, I swapped this out. I swapped these in for the Sink Belows. I took the Sink Belows out and put these in. I think this, while it doesn't draw me the card, I think is better because I can Fate for Scene my opponent's attack, set up my next turn, and then use the turn that I have left, perhaps even only 1 card, just to tech plating and then flip into it. And just know what I'm gonna. I can get a card that if I want it, I leave it on top. If I don't, I can throw it to the bottom. So it's not better than Sink Below, but I think it might work out a little bit better for me than Sink Below. Pummels, kept them all in. Dodoy, Enlightened Strikes, kept it in. I've added 3 sigils. I think with the way this deck is going to be built now, I'm going to be attacking a lot more, which means I'm going to be blocking considerably less than I used to be. And I think Sigil is a great way to essentially give myself more time to destroy and pummel down my opponent. So I tossed him in there. I don't know how they're going to work out, but I think they extend the game, and the game going long and me surviving longer is in my favor, especially when I was playing against Chain. There were all the games against Chain today. If I had been able to survive for a few more turns, they would have decked out, and yes, they would have had a lot in Banish, and yes, they would have probably had one more big turn, but I had half my deck, so I could just drop full hand, block it, full hand, block it, full hand, block it, and if I had any health left over at the end of their multiple or maybe one big turn, I would have just been like, okay, well, you're fatigued, I hit you for 6, done. And I think Sigil might help with that. Righteous Cleansing, I left it in. Sideboards against Chain, sideboards out against Chain, but against every other hero, it's great. Staunch Responses, like I said, took out the yellows. Choke Slam, Spinal Crush, left it in. Rouse the Ancients, still in there. Still not sure about it, but it's still in there. Showtime, Stamp Authority, Slogism. I added in 3 Lead the Charges. This, I think, I know why I put it in, but I think it is amazing in the Prism Aura matchup, which is a huge problem for Bravo, in my opinion. I was playing a game against a Prism, Mr. Anthony Barbieri. He was playing Prism, and the game was going really well. It was going in my favor, but then the second he started getting a few auras out, I had to spend my turns. He throws a Genesis down on the end of my turn, and I'm like, okay, well, next turn I gotta pop that. I can't leave that on the field because he's gonna keep getting Spectral Shields, which means I can't get any of my attacks in, which means he's gonna keep getting Yeah. So it creates a cycle. Genesis is bad. For the other player, it's great for the Prism. But I was like, okay, so I gotta spend my next turn popping that, and then he would put up another aura, a Merciful Retribution or something. And I'm like, well, at least he didn't play that in the opposite order. I popped the Merciful Retribution, and then by then he's got something else set up, and it really slowed me down to have to keep attacking these auras because you can't leave them up. If I had a bomb turn and I could have hit him for, lethal or bring him to his knees, like right next to lethal, yeah, of course I would have done it. But I never had a turn that was worthy of, okay, ignore this horrifying aura for a second, and then we'll get to that later. But Time Skippers let me pop an aura and attack, and that was early. I think I should have probably saved it for later, but then I thought, hey, why not throw in some Lead the Charges? I don't think I'll keep them in there in most matchups, but I will put them in there for the Prism matchup, just in case they're running auras. If I see success with these, I might up it, because I don't think Go against bad in Guardian. Honestly, I think having to play Lead the Charge and then like a low cost attack, like, you know, a choke slam. If I had the Seismic Surge token up, another blue plays choke slam, another blue, and I mean that, yeah, it's a very optimal hand, but I could choke slam, lead the charge, pitch into choke slam, pitch another into a Nothos, and then I would be hitting for 12 that turn, you know. And that's all off one hand. That's not even 5-card hand. That's just one handful of blues, and I could Anothos for 6 and choke slam, or Anothos for 6 and debilitate, or Anothos for 6 and crush confidence. You get the picture. There's a lot of options there where possibly Lead the Charge is the card that facilitates that. Same kind of thing as like the possibilities of Rouse the Ancients. If you have the perfect hand, it's a bomb attack. It's amazing. But I think Lead the Charge, I'm probably going to get Lead the Charge off more often than I get Rouse the Ancients off, honestly. Which might lead me to nixing Rouse the Ancients, putting more Lead the Charges in, but we'll see. I don't think that's likely, but we'll see. You never know. But yeah, that's the new deck. We're going to go ahead and test that a little bit. We only have just under a week before we get to the Cloak and Blaster Road to Nationals. So if you haven't signed up, I'm going to put the link in the description so that everybody can get in there and sign up. It's only $20, and actually we have passed 32 players, so there's going to be extra prize support on top of all the other prize support. So the more people that sign up, the more prize support there is. Come and test your mettle against some of the best players in all of Florida. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a blast of a time. Drinks will be available. Our kitchen is not going to be open for the event, but drinks will be available. So we're gonna have a ton of fun. It's gonna be a blast. We're gonna have the whole area set up differently than it is right now, and there's some amazing prizes on the line. So definitely, if you have August 1st free on your calendar, come on out. Event starts at noon. We're probably gonna be going pretty well into the night with the number of players we've got so far, and it's only gonna get better and only gonna get longer. So yeah, definitely check that out. Like I said, I'm going to put the link in the description below. Collective also has their Road to Nationals on I believe the 22nd off the top of my head. If I'm wrong, check out the description. It'll be there. Collective is another huge place that I love playing, so definitely check them out. Also, if you are checking out the Collective, you should probably check out Adventure Co. Gaming as well. AJ over at Adventure Co. and Ryan were streaming today, so they had some awesome streams, awesome commentary. You got to check them out. I'm going to link their Twitch channel in the description as well. Yeah, definitely worth checking out. So yeah, check out Cloak and Blaster Road to Nats, the Collective Road to Nats, and Adventure Co. Gaming while you're out there in the interwebs, clicking all my links and doing all my stuff. Also, if you're shopping on TCG Player, use the link in the description. A little self-promotion there after I promoted everybody else. I have been shipping a lot of stuff on TCG Player. I've got a lot of singles up there, so please check them out. Also, check out my website. The singles on my website are cheaper than TCG Player. But if I don't have something on the website that you need, if you click that link, I get a little kickback, even if you don't buy from me on TCG Player. So please, even if you're buying literally other products, you can buy Pokemon cards with my link in the description, and I still get a kickback. And it always feels nice and warm and fuzzy to get that little email from TCG Player that says, you know, somebody used your link, you got a referral credit. I'm like, yeah, sick. But yeah, check out the description for all these awesome links. Click them all, click everything. And I will see you guys for Baby's First Bravo version 5, which will hopefully be right before the Road to Nats, and then we can talk about Road to Nats. Oh man, that's gonna be a lot of fun. All right, guys, thanks for coming out, and may the pulls be with you.